Hey everybody, and welcome back to Slowpoke Racing and to the Ultimate Racing League, sponsored by Eldridge Air Conditioning. This is race 2 for the BTCC Replica Championship, and we are still in California in the United States at Laguna Secca. 2.3 miles and 11 turns ahead of us of fantastic racing. If you didn't see race 1, I suggest you go back and have a look at that. It was a great battle. There were some thrills and spills. Brian Moncani got some extra points for doing such a fantastic pirouette on the run up to the corkscrew, and well, I'm sure he's hoping for no more of that. The crowd absolutely loved it, and they want more. They want more. Obviously Brian doesn't. He wants to stay on the track. So we'll have a look down the grid. Well, no messing about. Let's just get on with it. They are positions on the grid are as they finished in race 1. So Grasshopper is on pole again, Thomas in second, Brian Moncani third, Dandam fourth, Hodgie fifth, Unforgiven sixth, Chris seventh, Colesberg eighth, Hawkeye ninth, Phaser 10th and Vane 11th. Poor old Phaser had a bit of a smash at right at the beginning of race 1, which completely took him out, so he'll be hoping for a little bit more from this race. So we'll see how he gets on, shall we? Let's get some lights out and get racing. 20 minutes. The guys want to have a change of tyres. If they used softs in the previous race, they're using mediums this race, and vice versa. So Grasshopper leads them away. Brian Moncani, a good start again from Brian Moncani. He's got himself on the inside as they come down towards the Andretti hairpin. Brian Moncani's going to be first in there. Dan's there again. Remember what happened in race 1. As you give a few people a little bit of a nudge, shall we? I think everything was good this time around, though, and Dan moves up into P2, Grasshopper into 3rd, Chris 4th, then Thomas, Phaser up to 6th, Hawkeye 7th, Hodgie 8th, Colesberg, Vane, and poor old Unforgiven down at the back. So what happened to him? Oh, he's gone off. He's gone off now then. He made a fantastic start, really flew off the line and got himself up into 4th. Down the hill towards the hairpin, he's got Chris on his outside and Thomas coming up the inside. Oh, that was a good old thump. That wasn't. We're going to have to go back and have a look who that was. So a brilliant start off the line for Unforgiven. No, it looks like it might have been Phaser actually. I'm sure it was a white bonnet. Yes, it was Phaser. Oh dear me. So Unforgiven off into the kitty litter very early on, so that's put him all the way down at the back, not where he wanted to be at the beginning of this race. Well, lead change then. Brian Moncani out in front on the soft tyres, and he's not messing about this time around, is he? He wants to get away and get a bit of a gap to the guys behind him. Dan in second on the medium tyres, with Grasshopper also on the mediums, giving chase in 3rd. Chris, good start for him, up to 4th. He's on those soft tyres, and we can see from Brian Moncani's car that Atenza has got the pace, so Chris just needs to up it just a little bit. He's got to clear the guys in front of him on the medium tyres before he starts to lose grip from those softs. So Chris will be pushing hard. Now there's a bit of a gap there between Dan and Grasshopper, but I'm not sure Chris fancies going for it. Through turn 9 they go at Rainy Curve into turn 10. Chris still there, just about. Dan just holding on to 3rd. Thomas giving him all sorts of problems. Phaser made his way up to 6th and having a right good look in the boot of Chris's car as they come into turn 11. Then it's back on the power again. Chris into the slipstream. Now they can use nitrous when they want to, but they do tend to save it for a little bit later in the race, as Chris really piling the pressure on Thomas into the Andretti hairpin at turn 2. Oh, it's Dan and Grasshopper having a bit of a battle there, but Dan manages to stay in second with Grasshopper 3rd, Thomas still 4th, then Chris, Phaser in 6th, Hodgie in 7th, then we've got Hawkeye, a bit of a gap between Hodgie and Hawkeye. Unforgiven in 9th, he's got some catching up to do. Colesberg in 10th with Vane just behind him in 11th. Vane already picking up half a second penalty in that GTI. And Colesberg looked like he got all sorts of issues going on for him there. Let's have a look and see what happened to Colesberg. Oh, he clipped that sausage curb, and remember Brian did that in the first race. And a good old kiss with Barrier, and there we go, damage to the front of Carlsberg's BMW. Now the damage is set to heavy, so if he wants to get that damage sorted, oh look, smashed all the headlight and everything in there, he's going to have to come into the pits to get that damage repaired, and he's already at the back, so well, he may as well, and then push to catch up, because it's affecting the aero, and you can see that he's off and skidding through the kitty litter, and all sorts of issues for Carlsberg. Up at the top though, it is Brian McCartney, and he is opening a gap, isn't he? Grasshopper has managed to get by Dan and move up into P2. It looks like Thomas is putting a challenge in on Dan as well, as they go side by side and across the start finish line. Thomas just slotting in behind Dan. We're on board now with Thomas. Let's sit in the passenger seat, so let's see what it's like from his point of view. Oh, bit of a late break into the turn 3 it is, sorry, I keep wanting to call it turn 2, it's turn 3, but Thomas managed to get that car slowed down and avoid any collision. Dan a little bit wide into turn 3, oh, that was unavoidable, I think, to be fair, that was unavoidable. Dan went very wide, and as he came back on again, Thomas was already there. So Thomas moves up into 3rd, Dan drops to 5th as Chris is putting the challenge in him, but I think Dan's just got his nose in front as they go through turn 6, and they start to climb up the hill towards the corkscrew through the little kink in the road that we don't count as a corner anymore. It is Dan in 4th. In fact, we'll jump on board with Dan, shall we? He's sandwiched between Thomas and Chris just behind him into the top of the corkscrew. The drop, then back on the power again around turn 9 at Rainy Curve, down the hill towards turn 10. A quick look behind, and Chris really sniffing around the rear end of Dan's car. Into the turn they go. Where is Chris? Where is he? He's trying to look for a good exit. He's Chris, and he's got it. He's pulled alongside. Look at the power of that Atenza. He may be dabbling with the old nitrous button there, Chris. If he's not, then that Atenza's certainly got some power, hasn't he? But he is first into turn 3. So Dan now down to 5th, Chris into 4th. He has got the softer compound tyres though, so should have the advantage in the early parts of this race. So Chris really needs to get on after Thomas on the mediums as well. So Chris needs to get up to Thomas and get by him to make those make use of that softer tyre before it starts to drop off and the mediums kick in then. But at the minute Thomas doing a good job of holding the rest of the pack up there. Let's have a look at the top. Brian Moncarney, wow, look at the gap Brian Moncarney's opened up already. He's got the fastest lap so far. Oh, there we go, commentator's curse. We mentioned it in race 1. We just say how well he's doing, and he has a bit of a moment. Recovered though, manages to keep the car facing the right direction, and he's back on it. Just be a little bit careful, Brian, through these next couple of turns. You will have dirty tyres. Into turn 11 then for Brian Moncarney. Obviously he's lost a little bit of time there to Grasshopper. Grasshopper on the medium tyres though, still got quite a bit of work ahead of him if he wants to catch up and overtake Brian Moncarney. But having a good race nevertheless is Grasshopper. Thomas still sitting in 3rd with Chris in 4th, but gaining. Is Chris going to dabble on the old nitrous to catch up to the back of Thomas? Make use of those tyres. Dan got half a second. Picked up half a second penalty. Now then, Hodgie sitting in 5th. He'll see that. If you can't see it, he would have been told by his race director that Dan has got that half a second penalty. So Hodgie just needs to push just that little bit more now to get within touching distance of Dan, and then P5 will be his. You can see Dan kicking some dirt up to try and put Hodgie off, but Hodgie, he's too wise for that. None of those tactics are going to affect Hodgie. Hodgie's got Fazer chasing him down. Fazer having a better race this time around, and he's in the mix now, isn't he? In the mid-pack, it's currently 7th and pushing Hodgie. He's actually going to go alongside him as they go up to the top of the corkscrew, and Fazer looks like he's got his nose in front as they hit the corkscrew. Can he get slowed down in time? Oh yes he can. Good move from Fazer, especially going uphill, so that puts Fazer into 6th, Hodgie in 7th. So Fazer now getting on after Dandan. Dandan just about to serve his penalty. Oh, it's gone up to 1 second now, so he's made another mistake. Now then, can Fazer and Hodgie get through? We'll just stick with Dandan there, penalty served. Trying to get back on the power, and he's going to hold on to P5. He actually managed to keep a big enough gap between himself and the 2 guys behind him. Talking of the 2 guys behind him, we're going to drop in there because Hodgie has managed to make the move on Fazer, used the slipstream and the nitrous very well there, down towards the Andretti hairpin, and Hodgie now moves up into 6th, and he can resume his chase after Dandan. Wow, Hawkeye, a bit of a gap between himself and Fazer, but sitting in 8th with Unforgiven in 9th on the medium tyre. Oh, Unforgiven looks like he's had another moment as well. He's got damage at the front, unless that was from the very the start when he got nudged off the track. But it's definitely affecting him because he's still down in 9th. Oh yeah, look at the damage on that car at the front. Vane in 10th, and Carlsberg a long way off in 11th, so this will be a race he wants to forget. So let's just go mid-pack again and have a look at this battle between Hodgie and Fazer, these 2 chopping and changing all the time. It is Renault against the Alpha as they come up towards turn 11 for the 6th time. Fazer gets a good exit out of turn 11. He's pulled alongside Hodgie already, and it is a race down the hill now then through turn 1. Excuse me. Down the hill towards turn 2. I thought Hodgie was going to have a bit of a look then, but nothing doing. Fazer just managing to hold on to P6 as they come exit turn 2 up towards turn 3. Hodgie just settling in behind Fazer now. Fazer on the softer tyres, so should have the advantage through the turns, but Hodgie doing a fantastic job of keeping with him. Let's see if we can find a bit of a tighter battle. Well, it's all kicking off here with Chris still in 4th, chasing Thomas down. Thomas in 3rd up towards the corkscrew then for the 7th time. Oh, was Chris going to have a bit of a look there? Or is he just getting in the mirrors of Thomas just to try and put him off? I don't think Thomas is going to be affected by that either. Dandan just hovering around in P5 at the minute, waiting for one of the 2 guys in front to make a mistake or open a gap just so that he can slide on through. But at the minute, it is still Thomas in 3rd, Chris in 4th. Oh, Dandan goes for the late move up the inside, but nothing doing. In fact, I think that may have cost him a 10th or 2. It was a bit of a late move, but nothing came of it, and he's still in 5th. Fazer in 6th, getting closer actually, Fazer. So he could be joining this little group anytime soon. Hodgie needs to get a move on if he wants to catch up and join this group. We are just over halfway of this 2nd race here in America at Laguna for the BTCC Replica Championship that the Ultimate Racing League are running. If you want to get involved in any of these races, then get in touch, come and join us. Look for us on Facebook, the Ultimate Racing League. We are on Discord and all sorts of places, Insta and all the others. Just look for the Ultimate Racing League. Yeah, come and join us, and we can get you on track. You can be involved in some of this fantastic racing. Hodgie still in 7th, just dropping off the pace a little bit is Hodgie, just needs to get a bit of a move on. Very steady though, lap times at 130s, fastest is a 129.9, but sticking with the 130s, fastest man on the track at the minute is Brian Moncani on 126.2, but he is on soft tyres, whereas Hodgie is on the mediums. Fazer's on the softs as well. Oh, he's picked up half a second. You can see his last lap was a 128.5, so he's definitely getting a move on. Is Fazer, penalty served. and he can carry on with his business of trying to catch up to the back of Dan. Dan's still in 5th. Let's go up and see what's happening up at the top. Grasshopper still in 2nd with Brian Moncarney in 1st, and he's just lapped Carlsberg. I thought he was racing somebody then, but no. So Brian Moncarney, quite a gap. He's looking very, very comfortable. He just needs to keep it on the grey stuff, Brian. No more shenanigans of going across the gravel and the sand. Leave it alone. You can go and play in the sand after the race. Oh, and it looks like Carlsberg has had a bit of a moment again on the run up to the corkscrew. So really not having a good race is Carlsberg. No traction control being used. Maybe needs to put it on 1 or something just to settle himself down a little bit till he gets back into the race, and then he can knock it off. You can see he's just about to be lapped by Grasshopper, who is still in 2nd. Got quite a comfortable lead over Thomas. Thomas has got his hands full though with Chris. Chris really is putting Thomas under pressure, making him work for that P3. If he wants that podium, he's going to really have to work for it, says Chris. Thomas on the mediums, Chris on the softs. So Chris really, as I say, should have the advantage in the turns. He's having another look around the outside, and a bit of late braking from Chris. Nothing doing there though. Probably had to slow down a little bit more than he really wanted to, although he's got himself onto the inside as they're going to turn 3. Now then it is side by side. Oh, no contact. Fantastic stuff. Chris just needs to get his foot down a bit more, but Thomas, did he use the nitrous just to get himself ahead? Chris has got nothing left. Thomas has got just under half a tank, so Thomas has got the advantage as far as the nitrous comes. So maybe a bit of a flick of the nitrous there just to keep his nose in front. Oh, now this is going to get tricky. No, Carlsberg just pulls over to the side of the road completely to just let these guys race. Oh, now then, did Dan go right across that turn? Let's just have a look. Somebody did. It might have been Carlsberg, actually. As we come up to this kink in the road, and you've got this sausage curb. No, it was Dan. Decided he didn't want to go the normal way round, and decided to cut the corner completely. Oh, and he's got a half a second penalty for his troubles. Very unusual route he took there. I don't know why he did that. Maybe he turned and the car just turned in too early for him, caught him out a little bit. So he's going to serve that half a second now. That is going to drop him off the back of Chris and Thomas, who are having a proper battle now. So Dan, I think he'll manage to hold on to his P5. There we go. Half a second served. Just cost him a couple of tenths off the back of Chris. Chris just dropped off the back of Thomas a little bit. Let's have a look, see what's happening elsewhere. Fazer still in 6th, trying to catch up to the back of Dan and Chris. Hodgie in 7th. Hawkeye in 8th. All on his lonesome. Got nobody to play with at the minute as Hawkeye. Unforgiven down in 9th. Oh well, this really is a race to forget for Unforgiven. He'll be glad to get on that plane and head over to I think it's Watkins Glen next. So we're heading towards Dix. Only a short flight, but one I'm sure Unforgiven will be glad to do when he gets on his private jet. I'm sure he'll have a sip of something just to calm him down and concentrate on the next race. Then we've got Bain down in 10th with Carlsberg in 11th, having all sorts of issues. Out at front though is Brian Moncarney, looking very comfortable with about just over 3.5 minutes of this race to go. Fastest man on track, a 1:26.2, which he got on lap 5, but well, a bit up and down. He's had a couple of 27s, a couple of 28s, 29s, but he's out in front, leading this race and looking good for the win. Grasshopper in 2nd, again looking comfortable to keep that 2nd spot to the podium. So another glass of champagne for Grasshopper. Thomas in third. Oh, now then, what has happened to Chris? I'm going to go back. Oh, there we go. Oh, let's get the right camera. Come on, this is the one we like. So Chris in fourth, just behind Thomas, was putting up a good fight, wasn't he? So through the kink in the road, did he hit the sausage or something? No, he just missed the turn completely into the sand, and he did a Brian Moncani, not quite as spectacular, but he did spin round and doing the sensible thing there, just waiting for the other cars to go by, but not what Chris wanted. So we'll skip forward back to where we were. So poor old Chris now down to 7th after a fantastic race up to that point, holding on to 4th, but Dan says thank you very much, as Dan gets all sort of sideways as he exits the corkscrew, manages to keep it facing the right way though, and stays in 4th. So it looks like the podium is pretty much set with Brian Moncani, Grasshopper and Thomas up there sharing the spoils, and Dan in 4th, Fazer is in 5th, Hodgie 6th, Chris down in 7th, then Hawkeye 8th, then Unforgiven, Vane, and then Carlsberg. Well, it looks like Carlsberg and Vane might be having a little battle. Up towards the corkscrew, I'm just keeping on the time with about a minute and a half to go, as Carlsberg chases Vane down as they hit the corkscrew down the other side, looking for a good exit. Can Vane hold Carlsberg off? It is the BMW against the VW. Carlsberg getting closer and closer with every turn as they head towards turn 11. Hard on the brakes. Now then, a good exit is what you're looking for, so you can get a good run down towards turn 1 and 2. Some fair old damage on the front of that BMW, isn't there, of Carlsberg's. He's got plenty of nitrous left. He needs to whack that button. You've only got a minute left, Carlsberg. Just use it all. Vane has used all of his. Not that Carlsberg would know that. But Carlsberg, he really just thump that nitrous button. Just thump it. Sellotape it down. Use it all. This is your last lap. Talking of last laps, I'm just going to have to go back up to our race leader and see whereabouts he is. 30 seconds left. Brian Moncani is going to get another lap. So is Grasshopper. Thomas in third. Oh, and Thomas has got half a second. Now then, where is Dan? I think he's just too far away, isn't he? Yeah, he is too far away. So Thomas not going to be affected too much by that half a second penalty. It's not going to bother him too much. Excuse me. Fazer in 5th with Hodgie 6th, Chris 7th, Hawkeye 8th. Then we got Unforgiven, Vane and Carlsberg. Vane just managed. Oh, now that looks spectacular. We're going to go back and have a look at this. As Carlsberg chases Vane up the hill. Now he's hit that sausage curb and got away with it actually. That BMW can take some punishment. But we're coming up to the top of the corkscrew now. Very late on the brakes for Carlsberg, and a good old spin at the top onto the gravel, and somebody's finished. It's Hawkeye. So come on, get the right camera, Mark. There we go. So Hawkeye going to be first across the line then in 8th. Well done to him. Unforgiven, he's going to be next across the line in 9th. I'm sure he will just throw his helmet and gloves on the floor and head off straight to the private jet and away. He's not going to be happy with the race he's had today. Vane in 10th. Is he going to be the next to finish? I think he may well be. He's just coming up to turn 11. Ooh, a bit of a big slide. Now, did he just get that wrong, or is it just a little bit of showboating? I'm not sure. But Vane will cross the line in 10th. But we're going to go and watch Brian Moncani, who is going to cross the line. I think his steering wheel's come off. But very happy boy is Brian Moncani across the line to take the win. Grasshopper, good racing from Grasshopper over the course of the two races. finishing second in race 2. Thomas is going to cross the line, having served his penalty, in third. So a sip of the old champers for Thomas again. Dan across the line in fourth. Fazer, a much better race from him this time around, in fifth. Hodgie across the line in sixth with Chris. Unlucky Chris, he had a fantastic race, didn't he, up to that big spin, but crosses the line in seventh. Wow. Well, that was round 6 here in at Laguna Secca. We will be heading off to Watkins Glen next, so please join me for then. In the meantime, take care.